Hi everyone, my name is Courtney and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a little review for The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. It has been over a year since this book has come out, so I thought it was the perfect time to be like, was this book worth the hype? Do more people need to jump on this book and read it? And just kind of give a basic summary so you can figure out if you're going to be interested in this. So The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi is a historical fantasy adult novel. This is the first book in a new series by Chakraborty, and it is the second series that she's written. So far, only this first book is out, but her other series, which starts with The City of Brass, was also really popular and has remained very popular. And I definitely saw hype for this book when it came out. Maybe because it's just the first book in a series, I feel like it kind of died down pretty quickly, and I didn't see like a ton of people reading this when it first came out. But now that the hype has died down and I've kind of read it without a lot of expectations, I can say that I really enjoyed this. I came into this book not having read anything by Shannon, so there was no expectations for what she has written in the past, but I came into this knowing that she was a historian and looking forward to just a fun piratey romp, and this book definitely delivered on that. There is definitely that escapist fantasy nature for this book, just like a fun, very well driven, very plot heavy book, but I wouldn't say that that is all there is to it, and that's definitely one of the reasons why I enjoyed this so much. Yes, I would say it's definitely worth the hype, and I definitely feel like a lot of people should pick this up and try reading it because it was so fun and so enjoyable. So the book starts off with a very typical format, one that we've seen a million times before. We have our main character being approached by this unknown person with some kind of connection to their past. More specifically, Amina is this pirate who's pretty much sworn off the piracy life, and she's just living a very quiet life with her daughter and her family, and this woman comes in to approach her. She has connections to her past, and she's saying, I got one last job for you to do. It's gonna make you a lot of money if you can do it, and that is finding her kidnapped granddaughter. And Amina was always in the smuggling game, not in the kidnapping game, so she's like, what's up with this? Something's not what it should be, but she is too enticed to say no to this. She wants to be out there, she wants to be on the sea again, and she also wants to secure a better life for her child and her family. And so even though she's older, she's ailing, she doesn't feel like she can do this necessarily, she decides to get the crew back together as best she can and try and figure out what's going on and save this kidnapped daughter. These stakes just kept getting higher and higher as more magic is revealed, as more stakes are revealed, as this little kidnapping job proves to be a lot more than what she bargained for. And so, like I said, that's a very typical plotline, especially for like any kind of adventure romp, but the reason why it works so well in here is because of specificity. This takes place in the time after the Crusades, or at least like the first couple Crusades, and as I said, Shannon Chakraborty is a historian, and this is very well researched. Even though all the facts probably aren't true, it feels very true just because of the specificity that she gives everything. If you want a fantasy book with good world building, I would highly recommend this. If you're a fan of a lot of history in your fantasy, I would recommend this. It doesn't feel like a textbook in any shape or way, but it's given enough detail to make the world feel like a fleshed out place. So even though this is a real setting, it just really blossoms and flourishes into something that is really specific and thus is very enjoyable to read. It also takes place in a non-Western area, which is, again, another bonus if you're kind of sick of the same kind of Western historical fantasies. And besides the fun adventure romp, the other area where we really get this author making this story her own is with the characters. Amina is such a fun character to follow. She feels very different than a lot of characters that you normally get in fantasy. Again, she's older, she has a family. In a lot of ways, she's struggling with her desire to do this for a good cause and desire to just be out there on the water to do this again. She has a little bit of a soft spot for attractive men, which gets her into lots of trouble. She's always trying to be a good person and to follow God's way, but she can't always adhere to that, especially with her lifestyle. And so she's just a really interesting, fun character to watch and follow, especially with her relationships with all these different people. We have her ex-husband that's coming in, who doesn't know that they have a daughter together, which brings a lot of tension. There is the other members of her crew. One is like a mentor brother figure to her, which she has some like antagonism towards. She has this poisoner best friend who is so fun. So all these different connections make the book really enjoyable and fun. It makes these characters feel really real, and again, in their world, they feel really real. So even though these characters are going into a world where they already know each other, where they already know how things work, it's just introduced in a way that is really well done. Everything about the craft of this book is just really expertly done so that you fall in love with the characters, you are interested in the world, you're interested in the plot and the magic. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about this book is that while it's opening up this big new adventure, this longer series of books that are going to come, you could almost read this as a standalone novel in a way. It kind of ties loose ends, but is open to adventure at the same time. So if you are looking for a standalone, you can read this, get your fix. From there, decide if you want to continue the series or not. Even though this is a story we've seen before, again, it's just the expert in the craft that makes this feel so fresh and new and fun. So there's not more that I really want to add. There were a couple pacing things that were not my favorite, so I ended up giving this a 4.25 stars to instead of a full 5 stars. But overall, I definitely think this is worth the hype. I definitely think this is a fantasy author to check out. Overall, this book is well balanced, it's well paced, it has great plot, great characters, everything that you want working together well, along with stakes and motivations to move everything forward. This is a plot heavy book, and for the most part, the characters are the ones moving the plot forward. And this is just perfect if you want a fun romp with enough detail and character to make this book fleshed out and just more than just a fun adventure. You know, it's a fun adventure, but there isn't a lack of depth in it. So yes, I would highly recommend Amina al-Sirafi, and I had such a fun time reading this that I want more people to read it because I think they would enjoy it. It was really, really excellent, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series as well as checking out the rest of Chakraborty's work. So this was a quick little spoiler-free review. Let me know if you're planning on reading this or if you have enjoyed reading this already. I would love to know, but thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later, and happy reading!